Hello folks, I'm Dean with Dean's Woodworking. Welcome to the shop. Y'all come on in and make yourself comfortable. Tonight, we're going to turn a little tool for the kitchen. Yes, something you can use in the kitchen, a biscuit cutter. Now, these work for cookies too, folks. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to turn one of these tonight. I think it'll be something you'll enjoy turning and something your friends and family will love. So let's get started. I've got a blank in the between centers. It's about 6 inches long. It's about 3 3/4 across. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to make this thing round. We're going to put a tenon on it, put it in the chuck, and from there we're going to make a biscuit cutter, okay? So we're going to use our large roughing gouge, which will bring that thing down in a hurry. And we're not quite round yet. One of the things you can do, hear that little bit of a knocking? That tells us we're not round yet. Let's see where we're at. We're pretty close. We just got a couple of flat sides, one flat side there. So we'll go ahead and cut a tenon on this. For this one, I'm going to grab this 1/2 inch beading and parting tool. We're going to start off by just putting a cut right there. And then we're going to come in and do a peeling cut. Come in and shape our tenon. So we have the wood back on the lathe. We've got our 1 inch skew. Just come in there and make a smoothing cut. Or a planing cut to smooth that out a little bit. Let's go ahead and bring our tailstock up so we eliminate that vibration. When you do that slice and cut with a skew, it just leaves that wood so slick and smooth. We need to bring it down a little bit so we get rid of that. So we're going to go ahead and mark this out a little bit. We're going to come back approximately 1 1/4 inches. I'm going to make a mark. I'm going to go ahead and turn the lathe on and make that all the way around. And our cutter, we're going to make it 1 1/4 inches deep. It doesn't necessarily need to be that deep, but that's how deep we're going to make it. And then we're going to make our handle about 1 3/4 inches. So our overall length on this is roughly 3 inches. So we're going to take from this and we're going to round this over. This will go in here. We're not going to go too far at this point. Just want to give you guys an idea. And of course this will be our handle up here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to hollow out this portion here. And we're just going to come in and go ahead and start cutting into that. At this point, much like you'd hollow out a bowl, we're using a 3/8 spindle gouge here. And if you'll notice, I'm starting that cut and then I'm just swinging the tool around. So that's going to give a slight domed shape inside that cut. And I believe we're right where we need to be as far as depth. And we are just under 1.25 inches there, so we're just going to grab a little scraper and smooth that out back there. So the wall thickness on this really depends on you. It doesn't have to be real thin to cut because it is dough. So don't think that just because I try to get them fairly thin that you have to. Everybody do their own thing, and whatever makes you comfortable, that's what you should be doing. I'm going to do just a little bit of sanding inside here. And I would show you the sanding, but there's truly nothing to see. There is one little tip right there. I want to knock that off before I start sanding. And all I'm going to do that is I'm going to start low, and then I'm just going to raise the scraper straight up. And that should have taken care of that little dimple right there in the middle, and it did. I'm going to go ahead and do just a little bit of sanding. If you don't mind, while I'm sanding, go down and click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell. Those two things truly help the channel to get out to more people. And if you'd like to help support the channel, go to the comments. There's some Amazon links on there. And even by clicking on those, you do help the channel. If you purchase something through one of those links, I get a small commission. So thank you very much, and I'll be right back. Okay, folks, so we've got the sanding done. Sanded the interior here to 220, and we are ready to rock and roll, okay? So we're going to go ahead and finish this and part it off, and I'll put some finish on it, show you what it looks like, okay? Okay, so we're going to turn this right in here. We got a pretty smooth cut there, so I'm just going to hit it with some 150 and a little 120. Normally I have the dust collection off. It's turning way too fast for sanding, folks. Remember, if that sandpaper's getting too hot in your hand, that's your first clue that you are way too fast on your sanding. It doesn't make it any faster. And some folks may think, well, the faster I spin it, the faster I'll get it sanded. No, it doesn't really work that way. As a matter of fact, it works just the opposite, because what happens is your sandpaper heats up and breaks down. It doesn't last as long, so you sand for a few minutes and then you're burnishing, which really doesn't help. I'm going to go ahead and run through these grits real quick, then we'll part this thing off. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and part this off. We're just going to use the thin parting tool and go in and part it right off. So once we've done that, basically what we did is came in and burnished that just a little bit. Got a little bit more to go. Notice I just took a small cut there. Now I know I am real close to a fit, so I don't want to take much off, but I know that I can bring this back here down to that. And let's see where we're at. When you get it up on there, start it, let it set for just a second, give it a tap. You've all heard that wood moves. We're going to come in and we're going to trim this off right out here. Taking light cuts, pushing in with those light cuts. We clean that up real nice. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and we'll hit this outside with our power sander real fast. So folks, we got the biscuit cutter made. There's one more thing that we need to do here. And I always just take and put my drill bit kind of in the center, angle it out a little bit. Drill a hole. Why do I drill a hole? The purpose of that hole is so that you don't get a vacuum in there and get your dough stuck in there so you can't get it out. Now, I have finished this with walnut oil. We've got it well wiped down, and the walnut oil that I'm using is just Mahoney's walnut oil. I will put a link down in the description to the Mahoney's walnut oil. So if you click on that link, I do get a small commission. It's not much, but it does help the channel a little bit, and it'll make it a little easier for you guys to find it. Okay, normally on this walnut oil, what I will do is I will put one hefty coat on there. I'll let that soak in. When it starts to dry out, I'll put another heavy coat on there. When that dries out, I just wipe it down, buff it, and it's ready to go. Just so you folks know, I'm going to go ahead and take a measurement, 2 1/4 size biscuit. And if we look at the depth on this, it does come out to be 1 1/4 inches. So again, a very useful little tool in the kitchen, and you can make this any size you want. If you want a big old biscuit, well, get you a big old piece of wood. You can even make these real small for donut holes, so you know, folks like those, cut out a whole bunch of donut holes in a real big hurry. It's up to you the size you make these things. Folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy turning.